This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week. This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer.
Let's get another clip and take a look. This is them talking about what they want to call Audrii's Law.
Crime Stoppers of Houston have offered to help us go to the Texas state legislature and promote a bill which we're going to call Audrii's Law to help close that loophole. If they started out with a sexual assault and they plea bargain it down, they still should register so people know that that person has that history. And then you can make up your decision and base your actions on that. We just didn't have the tools. And to do background checks on everybody, they're extremely expensive.
It's too pricey to do a background check. You got a big camper there in the backyard that you decided to let somebody stay in, which, by the way, is right next to the house. It's not like way off on the edge of the property, if that, in fact, is the camper that he was staying in. And for good judgment here, to make sure everyone knows he's a good character, he has an American flag on his hat with camo. So that must mean he's trustworthy. What's your takes on that?
Well, again, just listening to him, obviously the bill is a great idea. This bill should be everywhere. There should never be a sex offender. So the bill is a good idea. The fact that these two are the people that will figurehead this is almost nauseating to me. I'm just going to call it straight, Tony. It's terrible. They are responsible for letting this individual on without a background check. I don't need a background check and to see the man that would have been standing before me. And I tell you what, and this is what I always say, people don't change their stripes. The fact that he was a pedophile and a sex abuser, there's all these instances in the past. They don't stop that behavior. Oh, as an example, oh yeah, I'll take Audrii to school. Oh, let me become her good friend. Men of that age don't want to be good friends with 11-year-olds unless they have devious intent, period.
Yeah. And they somehow seem to still think that, well, if this was on that sex registry, you could have Googled his name as well. I've attempted that. When you kind of do a search engine in reverse, prior to the date of things going on to the search engine, there's information that comes up on this guy. I mean, it is out there. It is not like you couldn't have found at least an inkling of, maybe we should invest that $35 to do the background check, because I also looked into that. There's plenty of ways of doing background checks for under $50. You can do it for more. You can get more in depth if you'd like. But to say that it's too expensive, we're not talking like it's just like a $10,000 investment to do the background check on the Nazi you're putting in your backyard. Although if you really want to, I think I'd opt for the more expensive, in-depth one if the Nazi is in fact who I think I'm going to be Christian today and bring him into the backyard with.
It's baloney, their reason. I guarantee this reason is going to have to do with money and or drugs. That's what I think. All I have to do is look at the size of Audrii's pupil and see that it's the size of her iris and know that, and I know people say, well, maybe she was on Adderall to help her with some issue. Yeah, no, that's not what this is. I think the whole situation is ugly, and I certainly hope law enforcement is digging as deep as they can dig to see if anybody else was complicit in the treatment of Audrii.
Well, notice who's not in this interview. Dad, who also lives still at home with mom and dad as a 30-some-year-old adult. Why is he not sitting there next to them with all the pictures, with the big old purple T-shirts on, and wings and all that? Like, what? There's not even a mention of him in this whole thing. And he was there. We have pictures of him partying with Don Stephen McDougal. We use pictures of him at, I believe, like a football game or something. And they look like they're pretty into it together, arms around each other, and just having a grand old time. Why is Dad not here talking about any of this?
Well, I'm hoping and thinking we're going to see Dad again in the future, because law enforcement needs to be looking long and hard. Birds of a feather, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Why is he even cohorting with somebody like this? There's going to be a reason, Tony, and I hope law enforcement brings it to light.
I do too. We're going to watch one more clip here. This will infuriate you the most. This is Grandma taking no responsibility for what happened. Let's take a look.
We know there's other families doing exactly the same thing somewhere. And I don't want them to have to go through this. There's other families that are giving in nature. How do they know? I don't want to see this happen again. Not to anyone at all, ever.
And you said you feel some of the blame, but the blame isn't solely on this family?
No.
I don't feel like it is. I felt like I was doing the Christian thing. I felt like I checked a registry that failed me. It didn't just fail me, it failed previous victims. If we don't have the tools necessary, how are we supposed to make decisions?
Good decisions.
Good ones. I thought I did.
I don't know. The 7 swastikas might have been a dead giveaway that maybe this is the bad guy. It's just classic deflection, left and right. It's other people. Other people are having this happen to me as well, or happen to them as well. I'm not alone in this. This happens all the time. No, it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, are there horrible predators and people violent? Yes, but not everybody is letting the Nazi Aryan race guy go hang out in the camper with their 11-year-old granddaughter. That doesn't happen all the time because not everybody is as stupid as you. What are your thoughts?
You know what? Who she should have been doing the Christian thing for was Audrii.
Yes.
That should have been the focus of her Christian, I love how she throws that out there.
Yeah.
Her Christian actions.
Yeah.
But yet it's to help out a guy with the, obviously the Nazi tattoos, the Aryan race affiliations. And again, volunteering to hang out with your 11-year-old granddaughter all the time, aren't throwing up any red flags. And what's he doing for a living? I hope they get to the bottom of everything, but I am not buying one word of what this woman is saying. I don't feel at all sorry for her. I feel sorry for Audrii Cunningham because she didn't have a chance, because none of these Christian people looked out for her in any way.
They need to take a little better definition of what Christian is and take a look and go, maybe we've been getting this wrong for a while, because they certainly have, and it took the life of their granddaughter.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on True Crime
Until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.